Hey, welcome everybody to Flights and Flicks. We're the Bens.
Hey Ben, I was wondering, do you have a seizure warning you can put up at the beginning of this episode?
I can.
That's good to know. Happy
Whoa!
St. Patty's Day, you Irish sons of...
Okay, Ben, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this is the first Flights and Flicks where we're really picking two real cock knockers. Both these movies suck.
You suck.
Yeah,
Um,
they're not very good, Ben.
they're not very good, but we appreciate them, especially around the St. Patty's Day holiday, because they're
hmm
both Irish folk tales to a certain extent. I would say Rawhead Rex a little bit more so.
For better
Uh,
or worse.
but it's a good time to reflect on that type of stuff, and we decided to finally do some horror movies, quote unquote, because neither of these fucking movies have a single scare in them, really.
No, no.
But they're considered horror movies, so
Mhm.
let's start out. Ben, what movie? Well, I think I just said it.
I picked 1986's Rawhead Rex, directed by somebody, I don't know. But written by Clive Barker, one of the greatest horror writers of
Yes,
literature and
yes,
film, amazing horror director.
absolutely.
I'll circle back around later about the specifics of why he's a filmmaker that's worth even sitting through Rawhead Rex for. Uh, but Rawhead Rex is a very it's an adaptation of one of Clive Barker's short films, and he wrote the script, and it's basically about an ancient evil monster that loves violence and is super horny and likes to fuck. That plays to various degrees, I guess, in the movie. But I'll tell you this: the short story makes it very clear why his name is Rawhead, and I'll just leave it at that.
Very nice, Ben. And the movie I selected was 1993's Leprechaun, directed by Mark Jones, but more importantly, starring Jennifer Aniston in a very, very
Mhm.
young role for her. So, after the opening prologue of this movie, Ben, the first words spoken by Jennifer Aniston, "How come we're in New Mexico?" Then the dad says, "No, we're in North Dakota." And she says, "Well, same difference. What does it matter? It's not Los Angeles." Right there, you know exactly what kind of movie you're getting and exactly what kind of
Oh yeah,
protagonist you're
oh
getting.
yeah, oh yeah.
Leprechaun is just a movie about Warwick Davis in a basically a costume shop costume, who needs to get his gold, and he will do anything to get it. And that's the movie.
I
Goodbye,
I
everybody.
like I like to think that his leprechaun costume is just an Ewok costume turned inside out.
It's so it's dude, I mean, literally you could see a better leprechaun costume when you go out into the city in Chicago on Monday for St. Patty's
Mhm.
Day. There'll be
Yeah.
way better leprechaun costumes. We're going to start at the ass end of the paddle. So we have story, character, filmmaker, and theme. And as always, we pick beers that either have something to do internally with the movie or externally, or just the name rings a bell. And for this one, I wanted to go shallow, Ben, because these movies are shallow.
Ah,
So you go ahead and go first. What was your story beer that you selected?
okay, so for my story beer, I chose by Bullard Brewing Dark Crater, which is a Doppelbock barrel aged lager.
You like the Doppelbox. I want to say that's your second one that you've had on the show.
I picked Dark Crater for story because Rawhead Rex literally just jumps out of a dark crater, and that's the beginning of
That's
the
it.
movie,
Yeah,
essentially.
that's
That's
it.
it. This guy,
Something that looks like Stonehenge but isn't
yeah,
Stonehenge.
it's a penis, is what it is, Ben. It's some of the phallic imagery they did keep in the film that is rot within the story, the short story. But it's like an impossible rock to move, but this guy ends up doing it, or evil comes through the sky and lightning. I don't know. There's like some very vague magic stuff
There's
happening.
some sort of seance, and that's
Yeah.
basically it.
So Rawhead, and it's honestly one of the best shots in the movie, but it
Mhm.
also creates a movie sin. He jumps out of this dark crater and just dirt, and there's lightning striking behind him, and he's got the red eyes, and he's hulking, right? But this is also one of the problems within the film is you see the creature way too early, and I think that's something you're going to speak about a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
both our films have that problem of
Mhm.
there's no mystery, to what it is. You don't see any POVs before you
Yeah.
see the creature. Yeah.
Yeah. You see the face very just in very well lit
Well, and
pretty
I
early
give
both
the
films.
edge to Rodhead Rex on this because in my movie, there's not even a grand entrance. At least Rawhead Rex pops
Yeah.
out of the ground, and there's like you said, the
Yeah.
lightning. The leprechaun's just fucking there. Like,
Ha! He really is, man. Well, hey, here's the popping one.
all right,
Let's
do it,
the
man.
Dark
Do it.
Raider.
That sounds like a good one.
Oh man. Hmm. I
Hmm.
like that. I like
Hmm.
that. That's like a
Hmm.
dead baby joke. That's really dark.
Yeah, I could tell, man.
That's pretty good, man. It's got like a rich flavor to it. Yeah, I like that quite a bit.
All right. All
Oh, I
right.
almost forgot. Wow. Twelve and a
What's
half percent, everybody. I
Oh,
know
it's
that's
like a
what you really
dude.
want
That's
to know.
that's fucking wine, dude. So for my story, I went with Sullivan's Brewery, Irish Gold Ale, Irish Gold, because the only thing this story has is that he's after his pot of gold, and that's the entire story. So that's why I picked this one, and it's also an Irish beer. It's an Irish Gold, which I have not had a lot of experience with drinking. So we're gonna see how this goes. An Irish Gold. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, my boy.
Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. That is fucking amazing.
Nice.
That might be the best beer I've drank since we've done Flights and Flicks.
Mhm.
Mm.
I like that our opening beers for story, like you had a light beer and I had a dark beer, and they kind of
Yeah.
also represent like just the general ambience of the two films. I would never say your film gets too evil or dark, whereas mine gets really fucking gross at times.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Leprechaun, even though it takes. All right, so I'll break it down real quickly. Leprechaun. So Warwick Davis plays a leprechaun. For some reason, he's at the O'Grady farm, which is in some country bumpkin area, which I thought was Ireland for the first 2 minutes of the movie. And he kills the wife, but then the husband overpowers him and puts a four-leaf clover on top of a box. And then he sits in that box because apparently no one has been in this house for 20 years or 10, I think it's 10 years. No one's been in this house for 10 years and unopened a box or opened a box that was sitting there with this leprechaun inside. So then these painter guys come and Jennifer Aniston and her father come and the box gets opened up and then the leprechaun's out. And the whole time, Ben, he's like, I need me gold to get me powers, but he's got powers the whole fucking time. So that makes no sense because
Yeah.
he's got powers.
The powers are returning.
Very
The whole
vague
time. He can
powers.
show up wherever he wants,
Yeah.
whenever he wants. There's just no rules to this character, which
Yeah.
and I think like and in 1993, the world was so devoid of your like Freddy Kruegers and your Chuckies because both of those franchises had fizzled out by 93. Obviously, Chucky came back later, but the quibby, like kind of goofy, satirical, like kill machines that, the problem with this is that it's written so horribly. There's not a single funny gag or interesting kill or intense moment at all.
Ben, to be fair, it's also shot and acted pretty horribly.
Well,
so-
yeah.
let's not completely blame the script.
No, but I'm blaming the script for the decisions of where the story goes. But
I know.
you can see a good young charismatic Jennifer Aniston in there though. Like she's the only one where you're like, okay, but she's very
earnest.
No, she's very. I'm not gonna give her a pass. She's pretty bad still. Yeah, but
She's earnest. I mean, she's definitely the only one who knows how to act. But
yeah,
it's she's not given a. I mean, it's not Shakespeare.
No, it's not. But so here's the
It's
thing.
not
though,
Friends either, for that matter.
Warwick Davis is not Irish. He's British. So I get it. He's a
nothing too
popular
American.
short guy. So, but the real story of a leprechaun is they're known for being mischievous, little creatures, like to make shoes, and they like to shine their gold coins, look for their pot of gold behind the rainbow. And if you happen to capture a leprechaun, then you can get their gold or whatever. It basically, the writing's so bad, it basically tells you that every leprechaun is just evil and gross. It would have been better if he was just a normal leprechaun and you got to see him as a normal leprechaun. And then when you steal his gold, he changes. But the movie's so lazy. You're just thrusted into this thing and you see him and he's already a murderous leprechaun. So you're left to believe, well, is this all leprechauns? I don't want to believe that's all leprechauns, Ben.
Oh, Ben, but the beginning of the film, it's just like, show me, don't tell me, man.
Yes.
O'Grady comes home with the fucking gold, and it's like, why didn't we see him take it from the leprechaun? Why didn't we see this misadventure in Ireland? As if, I mean, I'm sure the budget has something to do with that, at least.
Oh, dude, you want to know how much this movie cost to make?
Oh, yeah.
$900,000.
Ooh, no way.
So in a way, it's a huge success because it made $8 million at the box office. So it basically made close to 10 times its budget.
That's awesome, man.
I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but that sounds close.
All right, I want to speak directly to the audience right now. He's not joking. I mean, there wasn't even a seance. It's like a fucking.
Well, people were in a church or something, and they're juxtapositioning, like, yeah.
Don't even give it that dignity, Ben. Okay, a table got hot, and then a horny demon jumped out of a hole. He kills everyone who's not a pregnant lady, and then he pisses on a priest. Those are the highlights of the movie. I mean, you just watch the priest piss on YouTube, I guess.
The pregnant lady scene was interesting. It makes me wonder if that's part of the actual folklore of that Irish thing. Because why even have that in there at all? Why show us that thing that he does?
So I think this is part of what's lost between the story and the film. Rawhead Rex is supposed to be this sexual demon almost that rapes and eats everything. Is my understanding. And they understandably did not want to show their giant rubber monster raping a lady, and I think that was for the best.
Yes, I definitely think it's for the best. Yeah.
So he just kills people, or somehow through very vague magic they kind of become his disciples. It's very, I don't understand how it works. I think the priest, because he was horny, he was eyeballing a lady in church. I'll give him that much.
Yeah.
And that cop was a dickhead, so that makes sense too, I guess. Ben, is this a good time to talk about the ending, though? It's my favorite part of the movie, almost.
Sure.
Well, I have two favorite parts of the film. The best part is when he destroys the trailer park, man.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Because it's great, Ben. If you ever been to a trailer park, I lived in a trailer park for a few years when I was younger, and everybody's got guns, and that's what goes down, bro. That's the closest thing to a challenge Rawhead Rex gets all night, of the whole movie, and he just tears through these fucking trailers, and it's something to see.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Yeah,
I want to live in a trailer park. I just haven't had the opportunity yet.
I like the ending because it has all these blue magical wisps going around this pregnant lady, right?
I mean, I can do that in 15 seconds on After Effects.
You can, but I love that effect from the 80s and 90s.
Me too.
Because it took probably a long time to draw or whatever. I don't know how they made it, but I thought it's one of those last really cool looking things before kind of CG starts getting introduced in the early 90s. Highlander, I think, is a really great example of how that kind of effect's used.
Yeah, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, it's kind of the same, and then Life Force does it really well at the end of that film.
I love that.
So I guess I'm saying, if you want to make a good movie, have blue ghosts move through your main character's body at the end.
You just listed two much better movies than either.
I did. That's true. I guess Rawhead Rex isn't a good movie.
Both of these movies are laughably unscary.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, there's no, like you said, there's no build up to where we see them They're not running around with, where we get to see POVs, the mystery. There's no mystery or holdback on the full
No.
look of them.
And neither of their lores make a ton of sense, or like their abilities really make a
Well, the
ton of
Leprechaun
sense.
thing is what it is, but this movie doesn't even bother
Well,
reading into that,
no, but you even pointed out like he needs his coins for his magic, but he already has magic.
He already has his magic.
And then
It doesn't make any
it's like
sense.
he has whatever he needs in the moment. Like Ben,
It's so convenient. The
Ben,
Leprechaun
doesn't
can
he-
show up anywhere he wants, at any time he wants. Like, I hate it how they're like, we've got to barricade ourselves inside the house. It's like, why? He's already proven that he can just show up in the refrigerator or show up in a cupboard. Why is the house the safe haven? It's not. Like, he can show up anywhere at any time.
Ben,
They
at
tell the
one
little boy at
point-
one point, stay in the house and close the door. It's like, no.
Ben, at one point, Jennifer Aniston's going to try and run off in the truck to get information about how to beat the leprechaun.
What a ridiculous side quest.
dude, if you could get to the truck and leave, why
Just
aren't you
go to the
going?
store,
Oh,
get out of there. Yeah,
Why,
like,
get out of there.
just get out of there.
So dumb.
Again, his powers are they're limitless. And then when he's like, "Oh, I got me gold. I can feel me powers coming back." It's like, "What? Dude, you're displaying some pretty hardcore fucking shit, dude." Like,
Do you think he goes to space eventually because he's just a god returning to heaven?
I don't know, but I can't wait to watch Leprechaun in Space.
So for my character beer, the character I chose was Rawhead Rex. And I picked up this beer. It's an Irish stout called, oh, please forgive me, those who speak actual Irish. Clurichan Trap.
That's
right?
how you say it in Gaelic.
Gaelic. That is the word I tried to say. It's by Illuminated Brewworks. So I picked this beer because in the spirit of Rawhead Rex, he's a weird penis monster. And you don't see his penis in the film, but you watch him like either pee or release some kind of fluid on a priest. So I just like to think that that's what Rex's penis looks like. That's just
Look
what I
at
assume.
that. Yeah.
His mushroom head is this mushroom head.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, honestly, the movie's good for colors. You good use of colors in the movie, so it all makes sense, right?
Is that a stout? It is a stout.
It is a stout. But I also picked this because a Leprechaun is like a little, I don't know, magical Irish asshole or something.
All right.
I have a kid. I didn't get to look into it. While that made me think of the Leprechaun, again, like there's Rawhead Rex, the big monster, but then his own little monster. So let's see if this tastes like.
I can't wait, dude.
Ed.
I can't wait.
Ooh, I like it. It's got
Yeah?
a coffee smell to it.
Coffee, yeah, that's a stout, yeah. Ooh.
Oh, that's good, dude.
Yeah?
No, that's yeah. Who put this alcohol in my my
Coffee?
You know what I mean?
That's an Irish coffee right there,
Mhm,
dude.
mhm.
All right, so while you're drinking yours, I will move on. So, what I picked for character was obviously the Leprechaun. And this is one of my favorite breweries, Bottle Logic. And this is a blood orange blonde called Out for Blood, because basically that's the only character trait you get of the Leprechaun is he's out for blood because he thinks they have his gold. So, fitting. And I
That's
do
a
love
fair
blood. I do
comparison.
love blood orange stuff, but I've never had a blood orange blonde before. Or have I?
Man of mystery, Mr. Jones.
At least not in beer form. Okay. It's mild. It's a blonde. So this one's pretty light. Figured it would be. The blood orange is there, but not as much as I would like. So not one of my favorites on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I love Bottle Logic. I'm a little disappointed, but in the Leprechaun movies, I think one of the biggest downfalls aside from the writing is he just doesn't sell it very good at all. There's supposed to be a fun scene where he's pogo sticking a guy to death, and he just doesn't. He's just like, "You want to play with me?" It's like there's just something that's not there. He doesn't have that he doesn't have that Robert Englund thing where he can sell any one-liner to kill somebody. It just doesn't work. And then I heard he was just god awful in that Willow series, which I never saw. But dude, he's a national treasure to Great Britain. I love Warwick Davis. To be for how many Leprechaun movies he did, maybe he gets more settled into the role through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies. But in this first movie, he's so dry and just reading lines. It just doesn't, to me, like, he has some good facial looks. He does have a couple of looks where he looks angry or whatever, but anyway, I know I'm talking about his performance more than his character, but you know, one and the same. We already talked about it. His special superpowers make no sense because he has them through the whole movie, but then when he gets the gold, he's like, "Oh, me powers are coming back," and it's like, no, you already had the powers.
So I have not bothered to learn the name of the director. What interested me more, the whole reason I even bought this movie was because it was written by Clive Barker. And it was apparently, it was his second film that got made that he wrote. It was directed by the same person who did this first film. And Rawhead Rex was the experience that made Clive Barker say, I'm going to direct my next movie. And that next movie was Hellraiser. Oh my god. And like, look, man, we'll get to it maybe Halloween time episode, you know, but Hellraiser is one of my favorite horror films.
Same here.
It's creepy, it's stylish, it's really well written, it's well performed. I love it. And I watched them all, and a lot of them are crappy. We'll have to do a Leprechaun versus Hellraiser comparison eventually.
I actually like even some of the direct to like DVD Hellraisers. Some of them are really well written because they always have to have that morality story to it as to why the Cenobites show up, you know?
Well, Ben, I don't know if you're aware, but while I won't argue that they're not well written, the majority of them were not originally meant to be Hellraiser movies.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like,
yeah,
they're repurposed scripts. Yeah.
Take that with a grain of salt, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that film's amazing. And then from there, he did not direct it, but Hellraiser 2 got made. That's another amazing film.
Which is arguably just as good as the first one.
Oh, I agree. I think if you only watch 2, I mean, that's it. Like, they really complement each other really well. I don't really think, you know, I'm a super fan, but like, if you just want to check them out,
I think 3 is a good capper because 3 is the most carnage for sure.
So for the filmmaker, for Clive Barker here, I picked out Dragon's Milk Crimson Keep, the Bourbon Barrel Aged Red Ale, which is an 11%. Wow. I got to make sure these puns.
Dude, your beers are blowing mine away as far as alcohol content goes.
Well, I didn't mean to, man. We got themes. I got to work with themes, man.
Yeah, you can't look at that. You can't look at that. Yeah.
So anyways, I picked this up for a couple of reasons. Really, color theory. Okay. So Clive Barker is really big on colors. Like in Rawhead Rex, he has like these like piercing red eyes, right? And they're like LED, and sometimes they look okay for a minute, but a lot of
they're
times
battery operated, clearly.
Oh yeah, like there are points where like they're not. It's not lit up symmetrically through the eyes.
Yeah,
and then sometimes he just looks cross-eyed, man.
Yeah, he does. He looks like cross-eyed most of the time.
I know. And can I just say really quick before we move on? It's weird to me how some of his elements seem like they might have been used for Predator later. Did you catch on in any of that?
A little bit. I know that the Rawhead Rex face mask was reused in another scene in another movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in like a dream sequence of another movie where a woman's hair is getting bit or whatever.
She had a nightmare about Rawhead Rex.
No, it wasn't even supposed to be that, but they just repurposed the exact same fucking mask for the scene.
He kills the husband of the pregnant lady.
Yeah.
And he drags him through
where she could have left and gone 50 miles by the time he finishes destroying the dishes.
That's just a thing in this movie. People can't seem to walk away.
He's like, ow!
Yeah.
She thinks that he's like running after her. He's just destroying their kitchen. She could have totally left.
I was amazed at the older priests who couldn't find a second door out of the church, and then got somehow into the basement. Like, where are you going to go in the basement?
It's all just nonsense.
He takes that guy, the first guy, through the trailer park and into the woods, and he strings him up. And I remember seeing that. I'm like, how did he do that? He doesn't have rope. he can't. He doesn't make web. You know?
Yeah. How did that guy?
But he did it like the fucking. You remember Predator? You know. Thank you for Clive Barker. And back to the color theory I was talking about. This is Dragon's Milk Red Ale. Milk is a bodily fluid. Red is blood. That's 60% of what Clive Barker writes. Here's to you, Clive.
Cheers, Ben. Nice.
Oh yeah, that's really good, man. Yeah,
dude, it sounds good. I want one.
Yeah, all man. Right, so I like barrel aged stuff. I don't think I've ever had a barrel aged red ale, but it blends perfectly, man. Those two kind of elements. They work really well together.
So I found the perfect beer for Mark Jones, the director of Leprechaun, and also the writer of Leprechaun 2, 3, 4 in Space, 5 in the Hood, 6 Back to the Hood, and 7 Leprechaun Returns. I figured that guy dedicated his entire movie career to this Leprechaun franchise, which for some reason has existed for this fucking long. The last movie was in 2018, Ben. They're still fucking happening. That's 25 years after the original.
Are you suggesting that the last Leprechaun movie caused the COVID pandemic?
No, that's a little too early, but so I'm dedicating this. I'm dedicating this beer to Mark Jones because he's really dedicated his career to fucking Leprechaun. So this is a Fat Orange Cat session IPA called Baby Leprechaun. And it's got all these cute little leprechaun cats on
kitty
there.
Cats.
So it's a session. If you don't know what a session IPA is, it's an IPA that has a lot lower alcohol content than your typical IPA. I didn't do that on purpose. Just like Ben said, you just pick the ones. I saw Leprechaun, Ben. I'm like, how do I not pick that up? You
would have been a fool, Ben.
But I do love a good IPA, and that is a very good IPA.
Nice.
That's very good.
I'll have to look for that one.
Ben, we're on to theme. Do either one of these movies really have much of a theme? I got one for you, but you go first.
Well, the best I could come by was I found this beer, another stout. I'm sure the Irish make beers that aren't stout, but this is what I found mostly. Irish.
They clearly make a gold.
That's true. It's a dry Irish style stout called the Book of Kells. And I did briefly Google that in the liquor store. And it's kind of like the Irish collection of the New Testament or, something along those lines.
All right.
And this film, Rawhead Rex, is so not into Christianity. It's pretty disrespectful of it. So
would you say it's more on the Bushmill side, which would be the Catholicism side, or the Jameson side, which would be the Christianity side? Probably not the Jameson side.
I wouldn't know, to be honest.
Well, Ireland, they rate their holy war Irish against Catholic by Bushmills and Jameson. So
there's churches getting messed up. There's priests getting peed on. And other priests just being murdered. It's a fairly blasphemous film, but that's not to be surprising from Clive Barker. That's kind of his shtick.
Yeah, totally.
I think
Hellraiser.
Yeah, I mean it's in the title, dude. It's and he's good at it. And he's good at writing that kind of subversive, kind of anti-establishment, anti-religion stuff. And Rawhead Rex would maybe be more offensive if the rubber mask didn't fucking flop around when he ran through the forest. So that's why I chose Book of Kells. And I'm going to try it right now. See, I like this. It makes me think of the Chahuran. Uh, a little smoother maybe, but little more coffee taste. Both are good, but I like that quite a bit. That's real smooth. Yeah.
So the beer I selected, this one actually works out really well for the theme of Leprechaun. And so it's a Seven Island Brewery Hazy Double IPA. This is the strongest one that I have, and it's called Mythical Misfits, which makes perfect sense for a leprechaun because they are mythical misfits, basically. And I think that's really all this movie has as far as themes. It doesn't have any themes as far as family or brotherhood or I mean it on the surface it has three guys who like treat each other like shit and call each other names.
You say three guys, one of them's the little boy who's
the biggest dickhead in the world.
His best
let me try the beer.
Yeah.
So this is the strongest one. Mythical Misfits Double Hazy IPA.
What does strong mean, by the way? This is like 4.8, I think. Yeah.
Well, dude, mine aren't as strong as yours, trust me.
Ah.
This is 9%, but you have ones that are like fucking way more.
You moved to California and you go soft, Ben. We got hard winters to get through in Chicago, buddy.
Like I said, I didn't look at the alcohol content. I just looked at the goddamn names. But yeah, themes of this movie are simple. Irish guy wants his gold. Fat, slow man swallows gold. Irish guy wants to kill him to get his gold back. End of story.
Wouldn't it have been easier just to get him some Pepto-Bismol to help that thing out?
Well, I think what they should have done was give him some X-Lax so he can shit that
there
thing
you go.
out.
Yeah.
But that coin was like this big though. You wouldn't want to shit that thing out.
Yeah, man. I don't know. The leprechaun was just as murderous of people who didn't swallow his coins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it didn't.
People
like
who
I
weren't
said,
really involved in
like
any
I
of
said,
it.
there's no rules. Nothing makes any sense. Okay, but Ben, what I'll say in closing of this movie is, having made fun of both of these movies pretty much the entire show, I will say what works about Rawhead Rex and what works about Leprechaun is it entertaining. It's kind of fun, but it's that charming 1986. I love horror movies from that era because they always use the same sound effects, so you kind of hear the same sound effects from different movies, but you look at a movie like Rawhead Rex, and then a year later you look at The Lost Boys, which is just amplified and gorgeous and cinematic, and it's kind of a timeless look. It doesn't have that 80s look to it. And then you go with something like Leprechaun from 1993. If you look at 1993 movies, you had like fucking Demolition Man. You had all these really big, cool looking movies, but Leprechaun's just its own little time capsule of cheesy. And now we know less than $1 million to make the goddamn movie, which is the only reason I kind of respect it. But both of these movies have the one thing, Ben, they have charm. They have a little bit of charm. They're cheeky. To me, you don't have to agree.
No.
Absolutely do not have to agree.
No, I do agree that the beer's turning. That's all it is. Charming is definitely what I think of when I think of Rawhead Rex pissing on a priest.
I don't mean charming from the characters. I mean from the filmmaking standpoint. Like, knowing what you are and just rolling with it, as opposed to trying to be something that you not actually are.
Yeah.
Like Leprechaun knows it's shitty. I think it does think it's smarter than it is, but it also it definitely does. Dude, I saw that movie. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I saw that movie, freshman in high school, first date with a girl. We went to see Leprechaun. Let me tell you how that date went. We went and saw Leprechaun, and then I took her to dinner, at a gas station that had an express Taco Bell inside of it, where they had 4 items on the menu.
Nice.
And then we kissed in a dumpster afterwards.
You were in a dumpster?
Not while we were eating, but when we were kissing.
No, but you were like inside a dumpster.
We jumped in a dumpster and kissed and made out, and then we jumped out of the dumpster, and I took her home after the Taco Bell. Yes.
Oh my god, I feel like I need inoculations just to have this video call with you.
That's a first date right there. That's the way it works. I think we touched on everything. Let me see. What did I miss? Oh yeah, Rawhead Rex, plastic face, ha ha, face barely moves. I'm reading my notes. Battery operated glowy eyes and mechanical operated spring for a mouth. Yeah, I want to know how that. I want to see a prequel to Three Guys That Paint, because that was what it was called, right? The business, Three Guys That Paint.
Yeah.
How did those 3 meet? Because they're not related, from what we can tell.
You know, you brought up an interesting thought, though.
Did I? Did I bring up an interesting thing? I didn't think I did all night, but okay.
No, you did. You wanted their backstory, or whatever. But like, wouldn't a Leprechaun prequel like kind of be interesting?
I
Like,
think there probably has been one, right? Like,
well, you know, that's a good point. This was the first Leprechaun movie I'd ever seen. I have no idea if any of the other films like go into the past or what have you. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ben. I don't exactly know what a good Leprechaun is.
no, just like a goofy, like, yeah, he's mischievous, but he's not trying to murder everybody.
Well, what I'm saying is like maybe the nature of leprechauns in this universe is they're all evil.
Fine,
or
but like
whatever.
they don't. But then why is the goal, like, why is he just killing who cares? It's probably the smartest scene in the movie is when they're throwing shoes at him, because they know that he has to stop and shine every shoe. So they have some, dude, that scene's kind of cool, I have to say, because they're like, oh, they're just like throwing heels at him, and he has to stop and shine every shoe, and that gives them extra time, even though they don't use that time to do anything useful. But that scene is pretty funny, though.
That's true. They really don't.
They have to, because the leprechauns have to shine the shoes. Filmmaking, cinematography, just atrocious in both movies. Like they don't utilize any methods that make horror movies scary. Not fucking one. When you have when your main antagonist is a tiny leprechaun short person, why not shoot some low angle overpowering shots, POVs, to kind of build up intensity, build up like a scare, but they never do that. Like I told you last night, there's all these shots that look like they're just like security cameras in the roof, and you're like, well, that's not scary. That's revealing. You can see everything in the room. You never want to do that with horror. Horror needs to be tight and close, so you don't know what's around the corner, Anyway, fuck these movies. Oh, for the happy young lads of St. Patty's Day or St. Patrick's Day, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, can I just say, gulp your cinema. It's magically delicious.
Hold on, Ben. Before you do that, I'll even give you a hat. All right. Oh, thanks for watching Plates and Flicks, everyone, for St. Paddy's Day. Oh, Ben's going without me. One more toast, Ben. Oh, we drink your cinema.
I drink it up!